Hello, my name is Caitlin Walk, and this is my video reflective essay video. And my central questions for this is the how can I show students the need or reason for truly understanding a topic and like understanding themselves. And that was the reason for that was because in the beginning of the book there was quite a few quotes that I wanted to point out. On page 2, the ultimate goal of social justice education is to enable us to recognize structural inequalities in ways that prepare us to change them, and that would be like one of the main central things I would do as a teacher. There was the other one. For example, there was another one. Most of us have very strong feelings and opinions about the topics examined in social justice courses, such as racism, sexism, and homophobia. These opinions often surface through claims such as, here's some of them. My parents taught me that all people are created equally. I always treat people the same. I don't think race and gender makes any difference as long as you work hard. However, there's like fundamentally things wrong with them, like tiny little things you can probably nitpick at that. And my main theme of the essay is mostly down around here. Yet the relentless repetition of these ideas in the mainstream makes them seem true and allow us to form strong opinions without particularly educated on the issue. And that was what I wanted to know about. How would I be able to teach that? And like this course, and like through the weeks, and like you plainly see that through the notes and extension and some of the assignments that there are like some key details we can pick about, and like how I can like incorporate those into future lessons and plans and all that. And there was one more quote on page 3. We will almost certainly have a superficial understanding because that is the primary message made available to us through mainstream society. And the book has like really good quotes, but like these 2 pages were like the main thing I wanted to talk about the quotes for about. And there was also on page 30 the different types of knowledge we can have and how we can acquire them, get knowledge from. For example, there's the personal and cultural knowledge, popular knowledge, mainstream academic knowledge, school knowledge, transformative academic knowledge, and all the other thing. There's a socially constructed knowledge, and I just wanted to point those out as I did this because I feel like that is like the main central area and theme of what I wanted to talk about. And anyway, I'm going to go over some weeks that again show the tiny little details about what I can use to help a future classroom as I deal with this, and help me like find key points to help the classroom. Anyway, example on week 3 we talked about knowing our histories and our intersectionality of our identities, and that was mostly about what was it? Oh yeah, it was about the learning about the histories of the black community, and quite a few things that I wanted to that were shocking to me was that in Ohio it was a very recently that we were able to have black people were able to actually vote and all that. So it was like quite an interesting thing to see. And that week also introduced intersectionality, which could help me with my future classroom, since if I talk about the our past identities of our collective identities in our community. We can also like see where they're like one identity connects to the other identity, and also forth like that. And you can see that. Another week is the that was the week where we found out we had we not we found out we had a essays about ourselves, and we both met them, and we also reflected on the essays of each other, at least one of them. And I also found that connecting to week 3, since we're learning about each identities and intersectionality, but we also learning about our like, for example, I did not know about this one person. I barely talked to anyone in our class, but I was able, through her essay, I was able to connect with her a tiny bit, in a way, since she had issues with her, I believe she had issues with her schooling and how she was able to, like, learn. And she didn't, I believe she didn't have that much friends, but, like, and it actually connects to me as well, since I was able to form a connection, since I also had issues with mostly elementary schooling, since I had issues with talking to people, and I had delayed learning, so it was kind of hard for me to like actually learn in elementary school without outside my special ed class. So I was able to form a connection with her through that. And the next week was the end of the week was the understandings of privilege and those who did not have privilege, and there was the I actually connected a bit with that, since, as I stated in class, I'm white, but I keep being mistaken for other identities. So it's like, and also reflective of like, because like in a lot of like TikToks, it's like people faking disease, faking illnesses and all the other conditions, and even some people who saying, "Hey, I am Korean," but they aren't actually Korean, and they're like, or they only have like 0.9% of Korean in them, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, I'm full Korean." And there's also, so it's like we have privilege, but like there's also people trying to take away the privilege they do have and become a maybe less privilege identity. So it's like, and it's also like we're also invisible to each other, because I have privilege and other person don't, or we may not understand the difficulties each other have. Because again, intersectionality, like, hey, I have privilege being white, but I also have learning delayed learning, and as you can tell, speech impediment. And but the other person may not know that, and so they only see me as a most of the time Asian person, despite not being Asian. And so there's that issue that I was actually pointed out to me about that. And week egg had a was one of the, I think one of the last no, second to last discussion board I wanted to talk about. It had the diminishing words, like the meanings of words, like, hey, you're Karen, but not everyone actually is deeming of the name Karen, since it has become a derogatory term, but it's not always. But a lot of people just throw it out there and say, "Oh, you don't have the sympathy, meaning thus you're Karen." And so I find that a telling issue in today's society as well as in the internet society, and I wanted to point that out. And the last discussion board I wanted to this last week I wanted to talk about was the we weren't in class, so we watched or read a few things, and no, that yeah, it was the week where we didn't have a class, and it also talked about more privileges and identities, and how they may be betrayed and portrayed in media. And since there was a movie called Till, and how this that, and I don't know what point was it make, but I believe that was it. Thank you.